So this is the Godox LC500 LED light stick. First of all, the light comes in a nice zippable bag, which also includes a remote inside it, plus the charging cable for it. The battery is actually built in on this, so you're not able to change the batteries at all, but it's not exactly a bad thing. So far I've managed to use this for 4 different shoots, plus some of my videos, and only charging it once. So the battery is really good on this if you're using it for just basic use. But if you do run it at full power, it will die out within 2 hours, which is still pretty good. But the one benefit about this is that you're actually able to plug the adapter into it and run it at the same time while having power running in, which not a lot of lights actually allow you to do. And a really nice thing they included with this is the barn doors, which just allows you to modify things a little bit more, giving you a little bit more play with your light and being able to choose where you want to direct it. So far I've already tried it for a little bit of artistic stuff, and I took a self-portrait with this where I basically closed the barn doors almost all the way just so I got a slither of light coming through. But the only thing I don't like about these barn doors is the fact that you have to slide it off, and it's just really flimsy. It doesn't work that well, and it's a little bit annoying to get it on. There's these little pins that are just on the edges of this that you kind of have to make meet within the end of the light, and it's okay. It works really well once you have it on, but the only way for the barn doors to rotate on the opposite side of the light is you actually have to take it off and turn it around. Because the one good thing about this light is that you have a LED set on the one side here, and then you can change it and you have a warmer side on the opposite side. And this just allows you to have a little bit more play with the light, whereas most LED lights will actually change temperature, but they'll change each individual LED, which causes your light to actually dimmen and it lowers some of the power. So the way they've done this by having 2 opposite sides is that the power you put into it is constant. So at the moment I've only got it at 13%, so it does get really bright if you want to make it really bright. Like now it's at 100%, which is obviously too bright. At least right now for the setting, around 13 is good, just so you can still see. The one great benefit about having the remote is that you can use this to turn it on and off, and you can even change the power output, which is really nice. And the one great thing about this is the fact that if you buy several of these, you're able to group them and put them into different channels, which means you can basically set up a couple of different ones and control them separately, or if you want to, you can put them all into the same group or channel and control all of them with just one remote. So you do have the option to mount this onto a tripod or a stand that if you want to. And the great thing is that it comes with a normal thread mount on the bottom plus one on the top, which is really handy depending on what you need to do. And obviously with this being a light stick, it is also made so that you can hold it, and if you need to, you can always get somebody else to hold it for you if you want it into special positions. But otherwise, the fact that they've added the threads on is a really good thing, because it helps to have the light on a stand if need be. So obviously this is a video light and you can use it for that, but another great thing is it is really useful for photography. So far I have used it for 2 studio shoots, which I've also used with this light here, which is the Godox SLB60. It actually works extremely well, as you can see from these 2 shots here, which were basically some business shots that I needed to get done. But otherwise, one great thing, it is even really good against the sunlight. So I thought I'd quickly just show you a quick example of me using it out in the sun. Alright, so I'm just going to do a quick setup here with my wife. I've got the light just on the side of her, and basically what I want to do is use the sunlight in the back just to kind of add a nice bit of backlighting. Obviously we're inside a tree right now, but you're still getting a lot of strong direct light in the back of her head. And using lights really helps with this, and it helps to bring back the shadows that's in the front. And I just wanted to show you how well this light actually works for these kind of situations. First of all, I just wanted to talk about the lens I'm using. I'm using the Sigma 105mm, and I'm shooting this at f1.4 as well, which means everything else in the background will be blurred out. And obviously shooting wide open, I'm going to have to shoot at a faster shutter speed, so I got it at 1/800th of a second. And the first thing I want to do is actually take a shot of her without the light on, just so you can see the difference between the shaded shot and the shot with the light. So let me show you what it looks like first with the light not on. So as you saw in the image, it is pretty dark on her face. You still see the details, but without the lighting, there's a lack of detail. So what I'm going to do now is turn the light on. I've got it set at its daylight setting and also maximum brightness, just to be able to compete with the sun. So as you can see, it can work really well in really bright lit situations, and not all LED or video lights can do that, so it's a really great benefit that it has for that. And one great thing is the fact that it's portable and you don't have to have it plugged in to be able to use it. So right now I'm using it just above me and kind of like a hair light, which is a really nice thing to have when you already have other lights with you. But I mean, even with other lights off or just using that alone, it actually works pretty much really well. But I do like to modify my light a little bit more and add others as well at the same time. So it is an option that you can use it completely by itself for certain situations if you really need to. The light is strong enough and it will work for that. So one thing is that the light doesn't come with a diffuser, but if you really want to, you can modify things yourself a little bit, and you could always just take a piece of baking paper and wrap it around the barn doors just to diffuse a little bit more, but you kind of don't really need to, as the plastic that's around it is already frosted. But if you do want to add a little bit more diffusion, you can do that yourself. And also, if you really wanted to, you could get some colored gels or some other colored plastic to wrap around it just to add some effects to it later on if that's something you're really looking for. But all in all, I think this is a really great light to have. It covers quite a lot of different things. It covers video very well, and you can use it for photography, which is a really good thing. And I actually know I can really rely on this light getting the job done. So it's basically up to you just to come up with some artistic ways of using it, but otherwise I think it's a really great light, and I think most people should probably invest in one. It's actually not that expensive at all, which is one great thing about the Godox line, and the fact that Godox has just a way of making their lights work together. And even the big one that I'm using here on my right also has a remote, which is really helpful. So if I wanted to, I could actually use the same remote to control them both at the same time and turn them on and off at the same time. But I actually tend to, with that light at least, control it separately, because I would be able to adjust the brightness of that one just alone and basically have that as a separate thing. Because sometimes, like now, I might only want that one light on at that time, and it's really handy just to be able to turn one or the other off or on. So yeah, it's a really good setup to have, and I think you wouldn't be wasting your money getting this. So if you enjoyed this little review for the Godox LC500, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.